Yeah. So I posted it on my page that I'm going to be on.
Yes,
so the concept is that, you know, after sunset, after that Maghrib sunset prayer, the kids are home.
Right.
You're not supposed to be outside. And even if we were outside, you'd never see us one by one. You'd see a couple of people, a room worker or something, adult chaperone. So there was a time where it was me and another girl. We had to been, it was between the ages of 13 and 15. We were 13, 14, whatever. So we're leaving his house almost 11 o'clock at night. So again, we have to leave his house, go through his wife's office, go through the regular office to go downstairs and go home. Wives, nothing. Adults, nothing. Now the person that I was with, her second mom, because it was Muslim polygamy, her second mom, I said you're breaking a bag on IG. Her second mom was like, where are you guys coming from? And so we were like, oh, we were at this house, we were at Baba's house. We fell asleep watching cartoons because that was the answer,
right?
You know. And so, but the thing is, she questioned. Out of we had to pass maybe 60 women. She questioned. Wow. But unfortunately, it got back to.
Look, the connection is going so low. Go ahead, you're good.
But unfortunately, it got back to him at some point. So her husband approached her the next day to say, why are you starting rumors?
Oh my.
And there was other things exchanged, but she was reprimanded by her husband for so-called starting a rumor about the master teacher because she asked her daughter and her daughter's friend, who were both minors, what are you doing out at 10 o'clock at night? You know? And so so there was, to separate us, it was this thing of getting our trust. Religion had a lot to do with it, you know. Yeah, so they're thinking like he's the master teacher, you know, he knows best, he does this, all this stuff. And he had an excuse for everything. So some of the grooming that he did, like he had a couple of his wives that he had them approach certain ones of us and tell us different things. So we're supposed to be virgins till we're married. But one of his wives told me, well, you know, in Sudan, the custom is a male relative teaches you about sex, because if you get married and you don't know about sex, your husband will leave you. So it was actually one of his wives that would call for me in his home and teaching me about sex, teaching me how to give a blowjob on a dildo in a religious community in the master teacher's home. You know, doing videos for him. I had to do a video, and I found out afterwards, you know, also during the time, other girls did videos where we had to take off our clothes, and she was videotaping us. And we were supposed to be raising like the Virgin Marys, but we're
I
here.
had to step out for a minute, but go ahead.
But we were in his home, taking off our clothes, having someone videotaping us and telling us that they're going to show it to him and come back and say, oh, he liked this, you know. And for me, even I always was someone, I was extra skinny, I was flat chested forever. So you know, there was nothing. And then again, this is someone who has at least 30 wives, at least other concubines and people, grooming us. And there was all types of things like, oh, there's a sacred ritual, there's an ancient practice, there's a this, there's a that. But at the end of the day, he was sexually abusing us. And then it would, and in the beginning, it would start off very subtly. Like there's times that, you know, as you get used to him and he'll come and give you a hug, and there's something about that hug that you're like, was that, am I?
Yes, yes. I
was
know
that
the
okay?
hug.
You know, like
yeah.
that hug felt like weird. Or I'm sitting in his home, and one of the things that I kind of distinctly remember, he walked up to me, and so now another tactic is the dare, because he always he wanted everyone to be loyal to him. That's also another way how he got people to just do whatever he wanted to, because he'd be like, oh, you're not loyal. you know, or I have, you know, I control, you know, like, oh, I'm an angel and I'm sent to these people, and these are the books for the people that's going into heaven, and I could take someone's name off of that book and add someone's name to that book.
Wow.
You know, he could say he could see through us. Like, I remember telling another teenager that had moved in a little bit, you know, we were upstate New York at that time. I think I was like 15, and, you know, she was just like, you know, his house was attached to our house. It was 2 trailers, so he could walk in and out. And he's literally had the girls the minors that he was sleeping with in one house, and the girls he wasn't sleeping with in another house. And it was a community, so the community people would shop for the community and have certain things, but he's the leader. He has more money, he has access. He would shop for his house and our house. So while we had little things like chocolate milk and this is that, the other people wouldn't have. And so this one girl, she was just like, you know, she had on her t-shirt and he was about to come in. And she was like, oh my God. And I was like, he's an angel. He can see through, you know, he can see through your clothes, right? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Because this is like, I was raised there, you know? Yep, and you never wanted to be left out. So it's always a thing where if there's 5 people, he'll do something with 3 people, and you know, and then he'll be like, oh, these people are special for something, and then you're like, well, what are they doing that I'm not doing?
So I wanted parents, and I have to say this, because not just because you're in a religious setting or a religious cult or anything like that, that it only happens that way. It happens with families that have more than one kid when the predator is in the home, and how he or how she gains the trust of the one and use the others against that one in order to conquer and manipulate. You have to pay attention, because it's all types of ways and signs that you can see things happening. And if you feel some kind of way, please speak up and say something to your children, and you know, and make it where they can talk to you.
And you have to keep questioning, because it's not about the one question. Oh, I asked that one time. First of all, looking back and now being a mother myself, when you ask that one question, you know the answer. But you're hoping that that child tells you something else, because again, blinders is convenience. And it's, you know, so it's tougher to deal with those things, because if, you know, if you have to ask, there's something up. And so if your instinct told you to ask a question, or what are you doing to, like, no, I have to be 150% crystal clear. You know, and when those things are not there, or when there's a, you know, there's this thing where that person, the predator, is getting so close to your kid, and it's just like, well, wait, I'm supposed to be the person that they're getting close to, not my child, you know? And so when those things occur, you know, when you see your child getting the same, you know, embellishments that you're getting as a woman, there should be something going off in your head. You know, and then finding that courage to say something, because whether you don't have the courage or not, if you can't find it for yourself, you have to find it for your child. You
have to. And that's one of the things that a lot of mothers and fathers that I've spoken with, the fear of what the answer would be, it makes them feel, whenever they hear the answer, when they ask that question, the fear is you know, I was a bad parent, I didn't listen, I didn't see, you know, and stuff like that. So then it leads the child to think they're out there alone, because we are not addressing that the mother or the father, who is not the one that is the perpetrator, or brother or cousin or whoever, that they are feeling the effects of the victimization, because they don't know how to handle that part either. And one of the things that I tell people all the time is that being a victim of the incest, molestation, and rape is not just the one that's been victimized. It's the entire family, the ones that wasn't touched, that May was groomed to separate from the other one, or, you know, the manipulation and then the hurt that